Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you, Monica. I'm very proud of being at your Congress, talking at your webinar. First of all, forgive my English if it's not perfect. I'm from Italy. I am the president of the Italian Association. I am the president of the newborn European Narcolepsy Alliance for Patients. And but first of all, I'm a person with narcolepsy. I'm sharing my presentation with you. One moment. So, my story starts as I was a child. I had a normal family with a normal life, and I was a normal child. My life was nice. My family was very good with me. They really, I was a very active child, always willing to play with many friends until the age of 5. During my childhood, I didn't have any particular event that made me change so much. So my parents got worried because suddenly I had a lot of sleepiness during the day. So it started with sleepiness. Suddenly, when I was at school, I could not stay awake anymore for more than 1 hour, maximum 2 hours. I had a lot of I had a lot of lack of concentration. In about 1 month, started all the symptoms of narcolepsy. The second symptoms was the hallucination. During the night, I really had really bad sleep paralysis with hallucination, real hallucination, taking all my sense. And they were really real. And in the mind, for the mind of a child 6-year-old, it's really hard to face these events. And then started the cataplexy, but nobody realized it in the beginning what was going on. Why? Because I tried myself to hide it as much as possible. Moreover, cataplexy and hallucination, I didn't talk with anybody about this. My cataplexy were not very strong. I never fall on the ground, but I really had this feeling that I was not normal. During the school, one priest, because in Italy, when I was a child, it was normal that in the school there were teachers that were also priests. One of these priests called my parents at school to talk with them, because during the dictate, instead of writing what the priest said, I made some hieroglyphics, some paints, some strange things, and I was like possessed, he said to my parents. And he wanted my parents to take me to a person, an exorcist, an exorcist who could analyze me. So my parents, luckily they were clever, they just changed me the school. And instead of making 8 hours of school, I made 6 hours of school, and helped me a lot to face the school. But the thing is that this priest, in the truth, was the one who first realized that it was something strange on me, that something was not normal. These things, he never saw these things. So the first thing that he could think it was is the one that he know better. So something about religion. Imagine the situation. You are a 6 years old children. Now maybe it's funny to tell it, but you are a 6 years old a child that hears this thing that you could be possessed with narcolepsy. You know what happened during the night. You have the hallucination. You see the devil, and you really see it. And I started to think that the cataplexy was the action of the devil to stop me to prove emotions. I could not prove nice emotions because the devil didn't want me to be happy. So I started to control the emotion and trying to control my cataplexy without knowing what it was. I was just scared. During the night, I really saw the devil, and it didn't took me just the 5 sense, also the 6th sense, because you really feel that is coming, that is taking your soul. If any one of you has ever had a sleep paralysis with hallucination, I'm sure that understands what I'm telling you. But this was just the beginning of living with narcolepsy. The worst part arrived then, because all these things brought me to isolation. I started to avoid having friends, going out. The friends didn't invite me anymore to the birthday party. So you have a lack of self-esteem, and you feel worse. You don't feel good. You feel less than the others. You feel not normal. Then every situation that makes you get in touch with other people brings you anxiety. Also, some simple things like a school test brings you to level of anxiety very high. Your symptoms are totally uncontrolled, and so you have learning disorders, difficulty with concentration. All these things brings you to go bad at school, to have bad results. Then came the early puberty. The early puberty, for me, had one good had one good side and one bad side. The bad side was that I started to I completed I grew up, and I was more or less as I am now. So I was as high as I am now, and so I could not grow up as I wanted. But in the beginning, I didn't become fat. I just was very, very fit, more than all the other people. And this was the positive part. The negative part, that was the negative part. The positive part was that before the early puberty, I was very, very, very bullied. I had a lot of person who stole me I always took a ball with me at school, because during the pause I wanted to play with other people, so I brought that ball with me at school to play with other people. The other kids stole me that ball and played by themselves. I don't know what happened, but one day I was very nervous because maybe I don't know if I was tired or what happened, and they tried to kick me as usual, but I realized that it was much stronger than in the past. So I realized that they could not do anything. So it's not. I know it's not something that is nice, that I'm not proud of, but I kicked them, three kids. And what happened? Why I did that? Because I was nervous, because I didn't want it to be abused. And then I realized that I was much stronger than in the past, that I was different. I started to look at myself, and I was thinking, my God, I'm very different. but that was just the beginning. Going on, I gained fat. I was very hungry and I kept on eating and I became very fat. And this brought me again back to the start with isolation, lack of self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. I really felt depressed. I really feel that I needed to stay alone, that I didn't have will to go out. So it's a vicious circle. And during all this period, in my mind, there was just one thing: why me? I just wanted to be normal. I didn't want to be better than the other. I just wanted to be normal. So I really had the feeling that my life was very, very bad. In school, for my whole school period, this is the sentence that my parents always heard: he is smart, but he needs to apply himself. I kept on sleeping at school. I kept on being unconcentrated. It was my school. My school was very, very bad. And the teachers were happy that I went out, because they didn't even want me anymore to be there. So I went to my parents spent a lot of money to take me to doctors, because my parents were not stupid. They took me to the doctor. But okay, the first diagnosis was something that we could not even take in consideration: demonic possession. Then a psychologist told me that I could be depressed, and probably it was, but it was not the cause, it was the effect. Another neurologist told me that it could be a beginning of epilepsy. The pediatric told me that it could be anemia, and other doctors told me that I could be hypochondriac. So my parents took me to all the places that they could. They spent a lot of money to know nothing, absolutely nothing. For everybody, I was normal. I was just a lazy boy. So in my mind, I started to think, okay, that's really me. I'm just lazy. I'm a lazy boy. I started to accept that I was that. And the quality of life was bad. And school was bad. Work was bad. Relationship was bad. My first job after finishing the school, I worked in a flight company, and some colleagues saw me sleeping on the computer and told me, go bed earlier and during the night. Another colleague, then I started to go in the toilet 15 minutes every hour just to take a nap. So my colleague saw me with heavy eyes, going to the toilet and coming out very fresh. They asked me, do you take cocaine? Do you have something for me? Wow. I was thinking, what's wrong with me? Relationships. I had a girlfriend, and this girlfriend told me, Massimo, I'm sorry, but I don't want to make this life. You are 18, you don't have a driving license, you don't have a work, you don't do anything, you sleep the whole day. This is not the life that I wanted to do. And how can I say that she was wrong? That was really me. My life was bad, and I felt lost and alone, because nobody could understand and nobody could listen what I had, and I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. In that moment, I was very lucky, because in that moment, passed in television the commercial of the Italian Association. The commercial was with the main character, a comic that I used to read when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite. And this is the video. wait. So I saw this commercial. I went, I called the association about, I think, 40 times. Sometimes also changing my accent because I didn't want them to think he's crazy. Why he calls us so many times? And every time there was the president answering at the phone and told me, yeah, we send you to a sleep center. You have to make a visit. Your sleepiness is chronicle. It's not something that you can say, yeah, I don't know, is something that you should take care about. So in my mind, that seed started to produce the results. And I started to think, narcolepsy, could it really be that? I just sleep. How can it be a disease? It cannot be a disease. I'm just lazy. I'm just a lazy boy. I started to convince myself that no, it's not narcolepsy. But what made me think it was cataplexy? I started to think that I had the brain cancer. I started really to be scared. So I thought, okay, I go there. If they tell me that I have a brain cancer, I will see what I have to do, and I will do it. So I went to Bologna, and I did all the diagnosis, and the doctor at the end of the study told me, I had the bad news for you. And then I was thinking, oh my God, now he tells me that I have a brain cancer. What will I do? And he told me it's narcolepsy, is 100% narcolepsy. So in that moment, I was the happiest person in the world because I knew the name of my enemy. And this after the diagnosis started my life. All the thing happened before my 21st birthday was darkness, was the middle age of my life. I really had a few remember of that period. It was not life, it was surviving. I started, the diagnosis gave me the tools to face narcolepsy. And I had a huge improvement of quality of life, but it was not very fast. You start with being self-aware of the disease, so you know how it works. And you know that naps helps. So you start to plan your naps, and you realize that, I realized that 15 minutes gave me 1 hour and a half, 2 hours of wakefulness, even without medicine. When I started to take my therapy, my quality of life became even better. But also with therapy, it's very important that you don't do it one day yes, one day no. It's really important that you take it every day at the same time, at the same hour, and for a long period. It doesn't, the improvement is not immediate. But there is also another thing to say. If a person expect that a pill can change completely your life with narcolepsy, is a lie. Is a wrong expectation. It's not a drug that makes you better. It's living with narcolepsy with a good quality of life. It's a puzzle of pieces. The acceptation of narcolepsy is very important, but it's not something to underrate. What does it mean, acceptation of yourself with person with narcolepsy? It means that you don't have to say, okay, I have narcolepsy, I can sleep whenever I want. No, it's not that. And it's not even say, okay, I have narcolepsy, I know what it is, I have to stay awake for 12 hours. It's starting to learn to live with narcolepsy. This will bring to the control of the symptoms. During my life, I started to learn to control the symptoms, but I'm sure that some of you can understand what I'm telling you, I can control also cataplexy. I can stop them and I can make them come whenever I want. When I'm at work, I have a 20 minutes pause. I use I make come the cataplexy to fall asleep very fast. I force myself to have a strong cataplexy that in 1 minute make me sleep without waiting that I am tired, that I have to sleep. And I have these 15, 18 minutes to take the nap. So it's very important to learn to don't be scared of the cataplexy. If I have to tell you the truth, I like the cataplexies. I really like how it make me feel. It make me feel relaxed. If I have anxiety and I have a cataplexy, I can feel better. But of course, now it is like this. In the past, for me, it was a problem. Why? I could not watch a movie. I could not watch. I could not have friends. I could not kiss a girl. When you learn to control the symptoms, your life improves very, very much, and you can have a social life. All these things, I don't know how it works in United States, but in Italy, brings you to have a driving license. You can legally drive as a person with narcolepsy because you have all your symptoms under control, and there is a doctor that have to certificate this. And one thing that, of course, is not to underrate, you can work. You can have a work, not because you are praying somebody to give you, not because somebody is sending you as a favor, but you work because you are good in what you do. And of course, one thing the first thing that I realized that you have more time. As I started with my therapy, I was thinking, my God, a day has so many hours. So this brings it to a positive circle. But if there are some people with a fresh diagnosis, I know that it's not easy. Also to listen this, I know that can look like easy to talk now for you, but my narcolepsy was one, not an easy one. So the key is the perseverance. And when you realize that your life with narcolepsy is good, the question that you had in the past, I want to be normal, brings you now to think, who wants to be normal? And this is a good question. Normal, it means conforming to a standard. This is a dictionary definition. Usual, typical, or expected. If you read this definition, there is not a positive thing in this definition, and at least for me, this is not a definition for a human being. It's a definition for a product. So, do we want to really to be something like that? I do not. So, with narcolepsy, we have a high creativity. We should use that. We should not be scared of having a future. We should not think now what happened in 5 years, 10 years. This is something that I always tell to the parents of children with narcolepsy. The parents are always worried about what will happen to my child in the future. The most important thing is to start to do something for your disease and to start to learn to live with your disease, and the improvement will arrive. But don't be worried about the work, because there are a lot of person that has finished university that works at McDonald's. That is not something, in my opinion, that is not something bad, but for sure it's not something that a person that has finished the university would like to do. But of course, persons are scared of this. But I can tell you, at least in Italy, there are doctors, there are sport professionals, there are advocates, there are engineers, technicians, there are artists, there is full of people that if you don't know that they have narcolepsy, they could hide it. So what is important is not worry about this word normal. Normal is not something to, it's not an objective that we should think to reach. And nowadays, my life, I have a work, of course, but my life is also volunteer. I went to talk to the Italian Parliament. I participate to Congress. I go to talk in school about narcolepsy. I'm talking with a lot of doctors. I'm making projects, and with my association. I'm not alone, and I'm not the one that has made himself without the help of nobody. I am full of person that are helping me. So I wanted to put this image in here to show you that there are some images with the Italian Association when it started. A picture with Professor Mignot. Here I'm at the Italian Parliament, but also some picture here you can see with me. For example, when in August I did the trial for orexin, and I had to stop, and I took the placebo. For sure, I took the placebo, and I gained 20 kilos, and I went back to 20 years earlier, realizing how it was bad living with narcolepsy without the control of the symptoms. So here, just to show you that who is talking you is not a superhuman with narcolepsy, but is exactly the same person that it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, just that has learned to live with narcolepsy. And to show you how many things you can do when you are fully aware of your disease and how to face it. And how much important it is to be part of an association to defend the people with narcolepsy and idiopathic hypersomnia rights, help research, organize events, awareness and information, promote meetings. It's very useful to meet other person with narcolepsy, also because you don't feel alone. It changes you, that conviction. It helps you to see other person. Also to change that thing in your mind, be normal. You see other person like you, and the word normal disappear, because in a room with the 20 person with narcolepsy, we are all normal. So promote training and instruction about narcolepsy and sleep disorder. And I want to underline this: help an organization mean to help yourself, because when you bring something to an association that brings something to improve people with narcolepsy situation, you improve your own life, and this is very important. And I close my presentation with a tribute to this person, that is Icilio Ceretelli, that is one of the founder of the Italian Association, and has been the president for 20 years of the Italian Association. And to be honest, I became the president after his death. It's not something that I wanted, that I even wanted to, I really didn't want it to be like this, but I had to do it. I was the vice president. I had to do it, and but for me it's an honor to be the president of the Italian Association, because he was like a father, like a friend, and all the things that I learned about narcolepsy and about speaking with other person, explaining narcolepsy, I have to give it to him. So this was one of his sentence. I kept it in Italian, but I translated for you. People with dreams are special. People with narcolepsy are big dreamers. Let's not forget them.